After the palace doctor's departure, Henry was brimming with the urge to broadcast our joyous news to everyone. He talked excitedly about sharing it with my family, the nobles, his subordinates, the entire kingdom, and even beyond our borders. However, I urged him to hold back the announcement. My rationale was strategic: to use this period of uncertainty to discern the true nature of those around us. When we were alone, I requested him to slow down. Let's take this opportunity to identify the troublesome people. Those who attack us now will not suddenly stand still just because our child will be born. We must identify and reduce the power of anyone who might pose a threat before our child is born. Henry's initial disappointment faded as he began to understand the long-term benefits of this approach. The prevailing rumors of infertility would draw out Catherine's remaining allies, revealing their true intentions. Yet as time went on, the need to confide in Haxon about our pregnancy became inevitable. The palace doctor's explicit instructions for me to scale back my responsibilities made it a necessity to delegate my workload. Haxon's role would be crucial during this period. Throughout the day, Henry's usual composure seemed to have abandoned him, replaced by a series of uncharacteristic blunders. Each oversight, from ink spills to mixed-up names and attire, was accompanied by a smile that never quite left his face. It was a smile that, while endearing, left Haxon feeling increasingly uneasy. When the two of us were alone with Haxon in his office, Henry decided to break the news.
You seem very happy, Your Majesty. Are you keeping something from me?
I'm glad you asked, Haxon. I need to share something with you, but you must swear to keep it between us only.
Of course, Your Majesty. Is everything well?
Everything is beyond well. Haxon, the Queen is pregnant. We are expecting a child.
Your Majesty! That is wonderful news. We have always known you would be the best of fathers. What can I do?
Thank you, Haxon. And I'm glad you asked. We will need quite a bit from you in the months ahead.
Haxon's initial reaction was one of elation upon hearing about the pregnancy. However, his mood shifted to dismay when he learned of the impending increase in his workload. He understood the importance of the situation, yet the weight of the additional responsibilities was palpable.
My heartfelt congratulations, Your Majesty. I was already used to my previous work schedule. I know I only live to serve. Your Majesty will be able to rest 7 hours a day. Although I will only be able to sleep for 2 hours, I will make do.
I won't leave you too much work, Haxon.
Even if Your Majesty doesn't, the person next to you certainly will.
Despite his apparent resignation, Haxon's demeanor shifted as he thought of the impending arrival.
Since it's a secret, you can't prepare the baby's room all at once, but can begin preparing to nest.
The idea of creating a special place for our baby, even though we had to keep the pregnancy a secret for now, was a heartwarming thought. It was touching to see Haxon, typically so focused on duty and work, showing such excitement and care for the baby.
In Aldrich's room, the furrows in his brow deepened as he processed Viscount Amelia's distressing words. That Rose, the Queen, had thrown their daughter to the floor seemed unfathomable. His immediate priority, however, lay with the well-being of his child. Cradling the princess gently in his arms, he examined her. Despite her incessant crying, there were no visible injuries, but the intensity of her cries hinted at some distress.
Why does she cry like this? Is she harmed?
Aldrich's voice, filled with paternal anguish, echoed in the room as he sought to understand what had transpired. He held the princess as tightly as he could.
What happened? What happened to the baby?
The Queen threw the princess. Threw her to the floor. It happened so suddenly.
The baby's cries seemed to amplify the gravity of the situation, resonating through the room. "Call the palace doctor." "No, I'll go myself." "Guards!" As Aldrich prepared to leave with the infant, Rose burst into the room, trailed by her guards. The scene at the drawing room door was chaotic, with Rose appearing desperate and defensive.
Don't believe a word she says, Your Majesty. Viscountess Amelia is mad. She threw the baby.
Viscountess Amelia's eyes widened in shock at Rose's counter-accusation, vehemently denying it.
Lie. Your Majesty, she has gone mad.
Rose, her face pale and drawn, glared at Viscountess Amelia, continuing her defense.
How could she do such a thing and then accuse me? Don't be fooled by her lies.
Tension filled the air as Aldrich's gaze shifted between Viscountess Amelia and Rose. The allegations hanging in the air were grave and unsettling.
After throwing the princess, she fled with the baby in her arms for fear of being punished by me. Your Majesty, that evil woman tried to kill our daughter. She deserves to be executed for trying to kill the princess. She must be executed immediately.
Rose stepped towards Viscountess Amelia, ready to strike her. Aldrich stepped between Rose and Viscountess Amelia.
Your Majesty, think about it. Would I throw our daughter to the floor? That's absurd.
Rose reached out for the baby, but Aldrich instinctively stepped back, holding the infant protectively. The idea of Rose throwing her newborn child seemed beyond comprehension, yet Aldrich couldn't shake the uneasy feeling that lingered. The room was engulfed in a heavy silence, broken only by the baby's crying. "Rose, leave us."
Your Majesty, the princess isn't...
"I said get out." Rose, faced with Aldrich's unwavering command, had no choice but to retreat. The gravity of the situation weighed heavily in the room as she departed, leaving Aldrich with his daughter and the unsettling truth he had just uncovered. Rose's inner turmoil was evident as she glared at Viscountess Amelia. Betrayal and anger churned within Rose, her thoughts a whirlwind of resentment.
All right, I leave. But Your Majesty, I would never harm the princess. That woman is a stranger, but I am the princess's mother.
Once alone with Viscountess Amelia, Aldrich turned his attention to her. "You have a child, right?"
Yes, Your Majesty.
"Have you ever raised a baby?"
Yes. We couldn't afford a nursemaid, so I cared for my child on my own.
Aldrich nodded thoughtfully, absorbing her words. Then he made an unexpected proposition. "I'll prepare a room for the baby next to mine. Stay there with the princess and take care of her. The guards will stand by in case the queen attempts to see the princess. They will have orders from me to keep her away." His words implied a significant role for Viscountess Amelia to become the princess's nursemaid.
Yes, Your Majesty. I would be honored.
Alone in his chamber, Aldrich brooded over the day's unsettling events. The weight of his daughter's safety pressed heavily upon him. How could she do something so unforgivable? The image of his daughter being thrown to the floor haunted him, igniting a fire of anger and protective instinct. It's one thing to play politics, quite another to endanger an innocent child. If I depose her now, it will stir unnecessary sympathy for her. People's hearts are fickle. They might turn against me for acting against the mother of a newborn. I must tread carefully. The well-being of my daughter and the stability of Elisaria take precedence. Aldrich cradled his daughter, her soft whimpers a stark contrast to the turmoil raging within him. Hush now, little one. You're safe here with me. The infant, sensing her father's presence, gradually calmed, her cries subsiding into gentle breaths. "Rose, your recklessness has gone too far this time. I should have foreseen this." He thought of the compiled list of Rose's transgressions, each a testament to her audacity and disregard for the consequences of her actions. "I've been patient, collecting evidence of your misdeeds, giving you rope. But this is an unforgivable breach. No more silent tolerance. It's time to act, not just for Elisaria, but for my daughter's sake." Aldrich gently laid his daughter in her crib, her peaceful slumber a stark contrast to the storm brewing within him. "This isn't just about a simple divorce now. It's about justice, about protecting the innocent. Rose, your actions have lit the fuse. The consequences will be dire." In the opulent yet disheveled chamber of the Western Palace, Rose's world seemed to be crumbling around her. The luxurious surroundings were a stark contrast to her inner state of despair.
My baby! How could I?
In the midst of her anguish, the sudden intrusion of Viscount Rothescue was like a jolt to her frayed nerves.
Leave me be! That's an order, Rothescue! Do not come near me!
But the Viscount, unfazed by her outburst, approached her with a grave expression, bearing news that pierced through her chaotic thoughts.
"Rose, this is no time for tears. Your real father has arrived in the capital. You must gather yourself."
Rose, caught off guard by the mention of her father, momentarily forgot her sorrow. The mention of her real father, a figure shrouded in mystery and power, brought a new wave of emotion.
Allah, you will not take advantage of me again!
"Rose, I am serious. This is a problem. You must listen to me."
You mean it's true? My father here in the capital? But why now? How?
Viscount Rothescue watched Rose carefully, understanding the gravity of the situation. Rose's father, a man of significant influence and secrecy, rarely made public appearances. His arrival in the capital could only mean significant developments were afoot.
You need to compose yourself, Rose. Whatever your feelings towards the princess are, your father's arrival changes everything.
You are the cause of all of this misery. It's all because of you.
Her tears flowed freely, each one a testament to her shattered dreams and lost hopes. In her mind, she replayed the moments that could have been, the tender embraces, the whispered lullabies, the joys of motherhood that were cruelly snatched away. She began throwing whatever she could find at him.
You took everything from me! Everything!
Rose charged at him, holding her hands against his throat, strangling him. The Viscount, caught in Rose's grasp, struggled to free himself. His expression was a mix of shock and disbelief as he faced the Queen's unbridled wrath.
Stop this madness, Rose! You must listen to me! We must get rid of him!
The guards and maids outside, their hearts heavy with concern, dared not intervene.
Get rid of him, you say? He abandons me in my darkest hour, only to crawl back now. This cannot be my real father.
Yes, he is your real father. A swindler who's come sniffing around now that you're the Queen.
He wants to claim kinship now, after all these years of silence and neglect.
Seems so. He's got wind of your ascent to the throne. Now he's here for his share of the spoils, no doubt.
Rose's face twisted into a mask of disgust.
I want him gone, Viscount. Out of my sight, out of my life. He has no place in my world. This is your problem, not mine.
Wouldn't His Majesty be better equipped for this? I don't know what you expect of me.
I expect you to handle it. What do you need? Money?
Rose, I still haven't found Liliana. She is my priority. My family is my focus, including Alan, who you have tossed aside. I will not be deterred by the return of your father. I came here as a courtesy to you. I will be leaving tonight. I have urgent business.
Rothescue swiftly left.
You useless bastard! This is all your fault!
Rose took a momentary breath to calm down. She knew she must regain her composure before she revealed too much out of anger. Rose knew Rothescue must not be aware that she was responsible for Liliana's disappearance. Not yet, at least.
Your Majesty. I looked up, startled to hear another voice other than my own. I had been so lost in my thoughts, and my hands instinctively covered my belly. Cedrica, who had clearly sensed my peculiar mindset, looked at me with a concerned, cocked head. I smiled at her nervously, thinking she might have figured out my secret. About Sir Oscar. My smile grew wider and more relaxed. Of course, this love-lorn woman was paying attention to my brother, not me, even when he was not in the room. She found every chance she could to discuss him. I was safe with my secret. He was much weaker than I thought. Weak? This is not a word I believe has ever been used to describe Oscar. Really? When I met Sir Oscar, I was amazed at how helpless he was. Are you playing a joke on me? Helpless? That can't be true. Are you thinking of the wrong person? No, Your Majesty. It's impossible to mistake that face. Oscar has truly met his match. I puzzled over my brother's behavior. Was he no longer concerned about his image? Or did he act unusually docile in front of Cedrica? The rain has finally ceased. I looked out my open window at the transformed scenery. Fresh air filled the surroundings as raindrops adorned the leaves and petals, glistening like pearls in the sunlight. The garden became even more beautiful. It is a good day to fish. Shall I prepare a hook and bait, Your Majesty? Please do not, Miss Cedrica. I did not mean that literally. Instead, we will fish for nobility. I'd like to throw a party. Ladies, please gather the necessary materials so we can draft invitations. My ladies did as I said, while I contemplated my next move, staring out the window. I knew what was being said about me throughout the country. This was not my first experience as queen, as everyone well knew. They thought I was infertile, and I alone held the proof that they were wrong. So I had the upper hand to see how they would behave, friends and enemies alike, in a social setting. We sent invitations to those with whom I had a strange relationship. My ladies-in-waiting puzzled over the names on the invitations. Your Majesty, those people are very close to the former queen. Their families are very close with Catherine's. Exactly, Matilda. I must not stoop to their level. They may come to my party, and we will sit and judge how they behave. We need you ladies throughout the party to be the eyes and ears. You're even inviting the Carriage family? That is maximum level danger, Your Majesty. The ladies and I could not help but laugh at Cedrica's use of war language. From there on out, we labelled the guests as low, medium, or maximum level danger. At maximum were the Carriage family and the Liberty family. At medium were those who clung to the families like leeches and took pride in it. It was only natural that my ladies-in-waiting were puzzled. I was inviting these dangerous groups without taking any countermeasures. Still, I didn't change my mind. These invitations were a trap to further strengthen the rumor of my infertility. Wouldn't it be useless to invite only those who are on my side? I sipped on my glass of cider, so everyone thought I was getting looser on wine, then watched the nobility fall into the relaxed spell of alcohol. I myself usually enjoyed a drink, and although at the start of the party I missed the feeling of loosening my inhibitions, I felt all-powerful with my sharpness. I was especially excited to watch how the behavior of my guests would unfold. Surprisingly, it all felt quite warm and cheerful for the first hour or so. But then, as glasses emptied and refilled, lips got looser. "Have you heard the Mercedes with child? So soon? Hasn't she only been married for about 3 months? What delightful news." I revelled in this. It was no coincidence that these foolish noblewomen were speaking to me of the pregnancy of Catherine's most loyal lady-in-waiting. In other words, they indirectly mocked me for not being pregnant yet, whereas a person who had married later would give birth first. "When can we hear such good news from you, Your Majesty?" "That is a matter for the King and Queen. It's none of your concern." That shut the women up. I tried to cover my laughter with a serious expression as I watched Cedrica fume, struggling to be satisfied with using her words and not her spear. "Why are you so upset, Miss Cedrica? It's just a question, and the Queen's child represents the future of our country." "You ask because of the rumour." "What rumour? I haven't heard anything about it." "I didn't know that rumours of the Queen were circulating." "Oh, my. Oops." At an opportune moment, I let my champagne glass fall to the floor, shattering everywhere. I stumbled a little on purpose and put my hand on my forehead. "I believe I've had too much champagne." The eyes of the dangerous nobles, and even the nobles on my side, widened noticeably. As I entered the matrimonial bedroom after the party, I quickly took out my notebook and adjusted the danger level of the nobles who were at the tea party. There were those who looked regretful when they saw my uncomfortable attitude. I moved them down from medium to low. Those who made the bad remarks moved up to the maximum, and I intended to watch them more closely in the future. I couldn't remember the last time I'd had this much fun.
"What's that, my queen?"
Henry poked his head over my shoulder. Then he spoke again, as he checked the names in the notebook.
Those are the nobles with whom there's a bad relationship, right?
"I'm trying to do it like you."
Do what like me?
"I also want to go fishing." We smiled at each other, thinking of how he had fished for Marquis Carriage, after he humiliated me at the State Council meeting. I explained what happened at the party, and he listened to me with a strange expression. He bit his lower lip hard as soon as I finished speaking. "Henry." When I caressed the corners of his mouth with my hand to stop him from biting his lip, he kissed each of my fingers and smiled broadly.
"I want our child to look like my queen."
"I will not forgo these stunning violet eyes for my lackluster green ones."
"Your eyes sparkle."
We stared at each other in marital bliss, and Henry began to tickle me. "Stop it, I command you." As he was tickling me, I began to realize that this rambunctious man must have been a rambunctious child as well. How could I raise a child with that personality? Such a child would certainly pretend to be obedient in front of me and cause trouble behind my back. Finally, he stopped tickling me, and I turned to him as I was catching my breath. "Henry."
"Yes, my queen."
"Can you tell me about your childhood?"
"Are you interested in knowing more about me, my queen?"
"Yes. It is said that children are the reflection of their parents. Our child might be like you, so I want to be prepared. If our child's personality was like mine, he wouldn't be very difficult to raise. I was a very obedient child. What about you?" Henry was kind and cheerful on the outside, but very naughty and capricious on the inside. I thought to myself, even now as an adult. He was silent. Henry, tell me.
I was very independent.
Were you obedient as a child?
I don't remember very well.
That speaks for itself. After I got pregnant, Haxon took over much of my work, so I had a lot more free time. So much that I didn't know what to do with all of it. In fact, I had so much free time that strange ideas came to my mind. Today, I could not get yesterday's discussion out of my mind. The subject of the personality of our unborn child. In the end, I put aside the unread book I held and visited Haxon. He had grown up with Henry, so he could speak objectively about Henry's childhood. Haxon.
Your Majesty, we don't have an appointment.
I came to ask you something.
What is it?
You've been close to His Majesty since childhood, right?
Yes?
What was His Majesty like as a child? Haxon's face twisted as he thought about my question. Then he looked me in the eye and smiled broadly.
He was cheerful.
But I was sure his expression was completely different from the one I had seen just moments before. It was obvious that he didn't want to talk about it. I'm just curious. I wonder if our unborn child would be like me or His Majesty. Haxon looked over his shoulder, as if nervous he was being followed, and then leaned in close to me.
I'll tell you about Henry properly. Come here tonight at 8 o'clock.
After I informed my ladies-in-waiting of my meeting with Haxon, Cedrica escorted me to the office door at the appointed time. Haxon had already arrived and was waiting inside, holding a large box. I gulped. What did he have to show me that was such a secret? He unsealed the box as soon as I entered, extracted a small picture frame, and presented it to me.
This is a portrait of His Majesty as a child.
Henry must have been 7 or 8 in the portrait. Even from this rendering, he looked like a petulant child. His cheeks bulged with disgruntlement, and his face looked nothing like the one I knew, that was usually smiling. Was Henry angered at the time?
Indeed, the portrait was captured against his volition. Observe this one as well, Your Majesty.
Oh my. An even younger Henry, perhaps 5 or 6 years old, also angered, was depicted here. I couldn't help but exclaim once more. Even in the portraits where he appeared with a smile, it failed to mask his unruly nature. As I scrutinized more and more portraits closely, numerous puzzling questions arose. Hadn't I come there to glean insights into Henry's childhood? What was Haxon trying to tell me? How did you come to possess so many of these portraits? Did you share a close bond with Henry? Although I shared an amiable relationship with my brother Oscar, I didn't possess any portraits of him.
Whenever His Majesty Henry erred, the Queen requested his portrait be captured for record-keeping and disciplinary purposes.
Henry's mother?
Indeed. His Majesty loathed sitting still, so she disciplined him in this manner. Originally, the portraits were intended for His Majesty when he matured, but he was caught attempting to obliterate the evidence at the age of 12. Since then, I've assumed responsibility.
So he was a mischief maker?
He was.
And what about that must be kept such a secret?
He carries a great deal of shame. His misdeeds were typical for a child, but his mother was not naturally inclined towards caregiving. Her affections were few, and her punishments great. Now that she is gone, these portraits hold less fond memories than he cares to bring to mind when he thinks about his mother.
My hands instinctively moved to my belly. The child had yet to be born, but I could already envision potential trouble. I, like Henry's mother, possessed no knowledge of how to balance affection with disciplinary measures. Until now, I had never contemplated parenthood or infants. Would my future child one day find shame and sadness when they thought of me? Haxon held up another scowling portrait.
Ah, the tale behind this one.
But before Haxon could delve into the narrative, a knock echoed through the door. We both turned to find Henry leaning against the doorframe with a forced smile.
Rose found herself in Duke Elegy's room. After walking through corridors filled with hushed glances, covert whispers, and cold stares, she was relieved to be in the company of the only man she trusted. Only here did she feel safe. The king's abrupt shift in demeanor towards Rose was common knowledge, yet sympathy was a rare sentiment. Most seemed to relish the spectacle of Queen Rose grappling with adversity. Clenching her fists, Rose maintained an air of regality. However, upon entering Duke Elegy's room, she collapsed to her knees, as if succumbing to the weight of the world. "Rose?" Surprised, Duke Elegy extended a helping hand. "What happened to you?" Rose, teary-eyed, poured out her heart.
People hate me. Everyone despises me.
Duke Elegy, privy to the turmoil in the Eastern Palace, offered solace. "His Majesty's anger will calm down soon. Even if not, you have me."
There's another more serious problem right now. My real father visited Viscount Rothescue. He will no doubt try to blackmail me. What should I do? Viscount Rothescue is too busy to help me. He said to speak to His Majesty, but His Majesty won't help me at this time.
"Do you know what your father wants?"
Surely money.
She tightly gripped the hem of her dress. Slowly, her fear was replaced by anger. Because of her father, she became a slave. Because of her father, she lived as an orphan.
I don't know what to do about it.
The mercenary hired through Viscount Rothescue had been commissioned to assassinate the Duke and Duchess Troby, and the assassin she personally hired had been sent to dispose of Liliana. It would be difficult to hire another assassin of that level right away. Duke Elegy patted Rose's back gently and clicked his tongue, as if in pity. "There is no alternative. In this case, it is better to give the money he asks for."
I'm afraid that it will become a bad habit, and he'll keep asking for money, not just once or twice.
Still, it's the best way to appease him. No matter how much money he asks for, he'll probably keep his mouth shut because he's your real father.
Really?
Of course. How much money do you think he'll ask for?
I don't know, but I don't have enough money to give him right now, no matter what he asks for.
Duke Elegy, smiling as if he found it amusing that she was worried about that nonsense, walked over to the desk, wrote something on a piece of paper, and brought it over. It was a check, with a considerable sum of money written on it. But Rose did not immediately accept it like she used to. Instead, she muttered,
If you do this, I seem to be getting too much in your debt.
Not much time had passed since the case of Queen Bronwyn's promissory notes came to light, so she was wary of suddenly accepting a considerable sum of money. It's fine. It's not an inordinate amount of money.
Thank you.
Friends should help each other.
The port territory you wanted. I will try to give it to you.
Duke Elegy cut an imposing figure amidst the chaotic streets. A realm of drunks spouting nonsensical ramblings, gangs vying for territorial control, and irate tavern keepers forcibly ejecting inebriated patrons. All fell silent as he passed. Head and shoulders above the rest, Elegy exuded an air of arrogance, his attire so high class that even stealing a glance at him was challenging. To the onlookers, Duke Elegy was either a high-status nobleman or a member of the royal family. The denizens here knew well that challenging such nobles spelled certain defeat. However, one man dared to defy the unspoken rule. "Hello?" Elegy turned to look at the man. The diminutive figure seemed hardly a worthy opponent. While some short-statured individuals were formidable fighters, this man didn't fit the bill. Undeterred, the man approached Duke Elegy as if they were acquaintances. "Thank you for helping me find my daughter." "I helped you find your daughter? When did I do that?" The man smiled wryly, speaking in a friendly tone. "Well, not directly, but didn't you make it possible for me to meet Viscount Rothescue? In any case, I know you helped me for an ulterior motive. That's why you asked me to pretend not to know you the next time I see you, so I will not greet you again, nor pay you for what you did." The corners of Duke Elegy's mouth curled up in a twisted manner as he looked at the silver-haired man before him. Despite his small stature, the man's well-defined features hinted at a potential handsomeness, if properly groomed. This man, Rosa's real father, Friedrich, held Elegy's gaze with a wry smile. The man moved closer and held out his palms. "It's time for you to pay for my silence. That, or I'll tell my daughter everything you're doing behind her back. I need money to keep my mouth shut, all right?" Friedrich wiggled his fingers with a mischievous expression, seemingly delighted at the prospect of extracting money from both his daughter and Duke Elegy. "You're contemptible!" Elegy's surprise was evident. While he had encountered various shades of villainy in his daring exploits, shameless individuals like this man were a rare breed. The man, unfazed by Elegy's opinion, persisted with outstretched hands, mocking the Duke. "What's the matter? You seem to have a lot of money, but you resent paying to keep it a secret that you sell information about my daughter." Before the man could finish his sentence, Elegy seized his head with one hand and forcefully slammed him against a nearby wall. Spectators scattered in shock. "Yeah, what the hell? Let go of me! Let go of me!" Elegy didn't relent. Instead, he extended his other hand, gripping the man's neck as if intending to crush it. "Say what you want. I don't care." As the man's windpipe faced compression and his head endured tremendous pressure, panic set in. Desperately pounding the wall, he begged for his life. Elegy released the man just before his eyes veered towards complete whiteness, strolling away without even uttering a threat. The man coughed, wiping tears from his eyes. Elegy was already far away. "How can a nobleman have those eyes? They look like those of a murderous bastard." Friedrich breathed heavily and screamed out in a fit of anger. "My daughter is the queen! My daughter is the queen!" The man's triumphant proclamation echoed in Elegy's ears. Elegy shook his head, dismissing the man's confident shouts as unnecessary intervention. He just seemed another drunk fool in one of Elisaria's downtrodden alleys. The next day, Rose sat in shock. Kaya had just informed her that a silver-haired man was there to see her. Rose demanded she was to let him in and immediately go far away. Unaware of the visitor's identity, the maid wondered why the queen seemed deep in thought and why no tea or snacks were to be prepared. Rose ground her teeth. Until the previous night, she had been ignorant of her father's imminent arrival. Viscount Rothescue had informed her, but the timing had caught her off guard. Rose had even entertained the notion that her father might not appear if she refrained from seeking him out. After counting to 100, Rose composed herself before making her way to the drawing room. Upon entering, she laid eyes on a peculiar man seated on the couch. His slightly hunched back emitted an unpleasant aura, and his well-defined features were overshadowed by a wicked expression. Rose clenched her fist, choosing to take a deep breath. This man, simultaneously strange and familiar, bore the weight of her past.
Rose, my daughter.
Friedrich got up from Rose's couch, his silver hair glimmering in the light from her window. A wicked grin stretched across his face.
Rose, my daughter.
Rose shuddered. This man was no paternal figure like Aldrich. He addressed Rose sweetly, yet love remained absent. Her childhood father had neither mistreated her nor cared for her, always providing excuses. He often forgot her birthday, and occasionally her name.
You've grown up well. You've become a great person.
Rose, unimpressed, met the man's gaze with a cold stare.
Even a stranger could say that. Why have you come?
The man feigned a sad expression.
Why did I come? I came because I heard about my daughter, Rose. I heard that my daughter was doing well, so naturally I wanted to find her.
Why didn't you think to find your daughter when she was suffering?
He raised his eyebrows in surprise, approaching with open arms.
Oh, I see. You're angry with me.
Rose turned to the side to avoid him, feeling nauseous.
Go away. Go away and don't appear in front of me again. For me, you ceased to exist from the day you left me. It's better for me not to have known you. Don't cling to my ankles, just go away.
Rose glared at him. Though she didn't believe he would leave obediently, she expressed her disdain in case he made a difficult request. The man's eyes widened, taken aback by Rose's cold scorn.
Do you know a man who is very tall and handsome?
There were so many men like that.
His hair is a mix of brown and blonde. His eyes are green. He gives the impression of being very strong. And he wears his cloak over his shoulders.
Rose frowned. Duke Elegy immediately came to mind.
Although I accepted his help, he didn't seem to have good intentions. I'm your father, your real father. I had to tell you.
Did Duke Elegy give him any information? Rose thought. It couldn't be. But she didn't bother to refute him, entering her bedroom and closing the door.
Rose!
The man hurried after her, knocking on the door. After several knocks, Rose emerged, looking at him with disdain.
Haven't you left yet?
I'm sorry, Rose. If this Duke is someone you like, I shouldn't have said anything. These recent days have been hard for your father. I hope my daughter can help me.
What kind of help? Money?
A smile spread across his face.
Good things happen when one has a good child.
My goodness has nothing to do with you. I became a slave because of you.
I worked hard to raise the money so I could be freed from slavery.
And me? What about me? You abandoned me so you could be a commoner? How could you do that?
Obviously, I also thought of freeing you. But when I went to see you, I found out you were dating Viscount Rothescue's son, and I assumed you had a good life. So I thought he would set you free. He certainly had a lot more money than I did.
Are you serious?
Really? I went to see you. I left when I heard you were doing well.
Don't lie. Did you leave when you heard I was well? No. You left because of a selfish decision.
Friedrich clicked his tongue.
Must you yell?
Rose, regaining her balance, stared at her father firmly.
I won't give you a penny.
Friedrich looked at her with disbelief, then frowned sternly.
You always were a bad daughter. Is that the way to treat your father, who saw you born and raised? Rose, do you think I'll stay calm if you throw me out like this? I'm your father, and it's your duty to take care of me. If you abandon me, I'll have no choice but to tell everyone what an ungrateful and bad daughter you are.
Then do it. I don't care. I tilted my head, feeling an ominous gaze behind me. Henry had caught me delving into his past.
Haxon, please give us a moment.
If you'll excuse me.
Haxon hurried out of the room like a flash of lightning. Not knowing what to do, I followed suit. Excuse me, I forgot something in my room. I'll leave as well. I started out of the room with a quickened pace.
Where are you going, Bronwyn?
I immediately halted and awkwardly turned around. Henry mocked me with his gaze.
You know, when you're in a stressful situation, you are even more cold and dignified than usual.
Henry put his hands on my cheeks, kissed the tip of my nose, and smiled.
Yet I love it when you act like this. How beautiful. Bronwyn, what were you talking about with Haxon?
I just wanted to know about your childhood. I want to know more about you.
You lie.
I knew he had overheard it all, so why pretend otherwise? I want to know what our child will be like. What will I be like to our child? Are you angry?
No, it's not that. I'm just embarrassed.
What embarrasses you?
I was a little naughty as a child. I didn't want you to know about it.
I'll also tell you about my childhood. What do you think?
I'm guessing you grew up without causing any trouble, am I right?
I remained silent.
I knew it.
He chuckled as he rubbed his forehead against mine. Then he picked up a small portrait Haxon had left behind. He held up the portrait of himself as a child, with puffy cheeks, and looked at it with a tender smile. Though each portrait was a punishment, perhaps he kept them out of motherly love. Realizing I had worried unnecessarily, I understood that it made no sense to fear. Whether naughty or quiet, I would love my child all the same. I think it would be nice to have twins. One child who is like you, and one who is like me. A bit of both of us.
Bronwyn.
And give me the portrait. Don't even think about destroying it. Henry handed it to me with a sullen expression, reminiscent of his childhood days. I held the portrait tightly in my arms and smiled triumphantly. In spite of our efforts to keep my pregnancy a secret, the rumors about the baby spread like wildfire.
Have you heard about the baby?
Yes, I heard that the Queen and the King are taking a medicine that aids conception.
So the Queen isn't infertile, as rumored.
As the rumors circulated, I sipped on a fertility tea provided by the palace doctor, as I had been instructed. The plan was working. The seeds planted by Henry and I were slowly sprouting. I looked at Cedrica, voicing my thoughts. It's strange. Yes, I don't know why they do this. They should mind their own business. I shook my head. Cedrica misunderstood. I was not referring to the nobles who did discuss me, but those who did not, namely Marquis Carriage and Duke Liberty. Maximum level danger. Why were they silent? Was Marquis Carriage being more cautious after the plan to use Henry's playboy image against him went wrong? I returned my gaze to the window. They must be taught not to mess with the Queen. That night, I sought Henry's opinion. What do you think, Henry? I guess setting traps is not a field I'm good at.
The best part of fishing is waiting, Bronwyn.
It's boring to wait blindly, not knowing if the other person is going to react.
So how did you deal with political enemies in Elisaria?
I scratched my palms unconsciously, sensing a familiar itch. I didn't have much trouble. Henry was no longer looking at me. He was looking at my hands. I looked at them and realized they were freezing. I tried to warm them up on the desk, but a thin piece of ice appeared and moved towards Henry. My magic.
Are you all right?
I'm fine, I'm just a little surprised. As I closed my hands repeatedly, Henry's intense gaze was on me.
Perhaps it is time we bring you to the Magical Academy.
Aldrich, usually so stern and commanding, was transformed in the presence of his daughter. Each time he coaxed her to speak, her bubbly response filled the room with innocent joy. It was a rare moment of vulnerability for the king, a glimpse of the father beneath the ruler. Viscountess Amelia, as she held the baby with practiced ease, watched Aldrich's interactions with a mixture of admiration and melancholy. Aldrich's face softened with each laugh from the baby. It was an image of paternal bliss. But even in such a moment, the burdens of the crown could not be entirely forgotten. A knock at the door was a stark reminder of this. Baron Lant walked into the room. His voice, somewhat hesitant, shattered the idyllic atmosphere.
Your Majesty, there is an urgent matter that requires your attention.
Aldrich's eyes lingered on his daughter for a moment longer. Then he handed her back to Viscountess Amelia with a hint of reluctance. Duty called, and he could not ignore it, not even for this. Aldrich walked out of the room with Baron Lant by his side. In the solemnity of the drawing room, Aldrich and Baron Lant sat in heavy silence. Baron Lant handed him a pamphlet. Aldrich, with a practiced hand, unfolded the parchment, his gaze sharp and discerning. As he scanned the article, his expression, initially one of curiosity, slowly morphed into one of disbelief, and then into a shadow of anger.
What does this mean? What is this article implying about the Queen?
Aldrich's hands trembled slightly. The words on the page were filled with allegations and rumors surrounding the Queen.
Your Majesty, the article suggests that Queen Rose's real father has returned, that he has always supported his daughter, had no idea she had become queen, and that Rose had sought out fake parents because she was ashamed of his commoner status.
Baron Lant hesitated. His demeanor reflected the gravity of the situation. The news about Rose's purported real father had spread like wildfire, igniting rumors and suspicions throughout the palace.
Tell me you have the slave certificate.
I don't, Your Majesty. The certificate has been extraordinarily difficult to obtain.
Aldrich grabbed Baron Lant, throwing him against the wall. His face was inches away. Aldrich wanted him to see the rage in his eyes, to know he would never see them again if he didn't find that certificate.
Where is the journalist and the man who claims to be her real father? No, forget that. Where is Rose?
Queen Rose is currently in her chambers, Your Majesty. She's been quite distressed since the news broke out.
Aldrich released Baron Lant, then hurried off to see Rose. Julian sat across from Rose in her chambers. The scribe's demeanor was unyielding, his gaze unwavering. The room, though filled with the opulence befitting a queen, felt stifling and tense.
Your Majesty, my duty as a scribe is to report the truth, not to consider personal feelings. My articles are based on facts and the concerns of the people.
But you accuse me of having a slave's blood, to bring such dishonor upon me and my family. How can that be just?
Julian's expression remained impassive, reflecting the resolve of a man committed to his profession.
The role of a scribe is to question and challenge, even those in the highest seats of power. It's not personal, it's about accountability.
So you will continue to tarnish my name, to feed the people lies and half-truths.
Julian leaned forward, his voice firm.
If what I report is a lie, prove me wrong. Show the people that their queen is beyond reproach. That's your duty, not mine, Your Majesty.
Rose's clenched fists betrayed her inner turmoil. The scribe's words were a challenge, a reminder of the relentless scrutiny she faced as queen.
Do you understand the gravity of what you've done? You've cast a shadow over not just me, but my innocent daughter as well.
Your Majesty, the weight of the crown includes enduring scrutiny. It's the price of power. The people have a right to know about those who rule over them.
But at what cost? Must my daughter suffer for the sake of your so-called duty?
Must my sister suffer for yours?
Rose's face oscillated between fury and desperation as Julian rose to his feet, embodying a determination that seemed to alter the power dynamics in the room. The tension thickened, palpable in the air, as the balance of control teetered.
There are far more damaging rumors I'm investigating. I want my sister returned.
Why do you fail to grasp the truth? I assure you, I have no part in your sister's disappearance.
My responsibilities as a scribe and a brother dictate my actions. If your innocence is true, let it come to light. Until then, my search for my sister will persist, as will my examination of your deeds. Good day, Your Majesty.
Julian left as quickly as he could. A sense of panic swelled within Rose. Julian's unwavering resolve was like an unshakable edifice, a constant reminder of a truth-seeking mission that threatened to upend her world. Alone in her chamber, the walls appeared to close in around her. Each jewel in her crown felt like a burden, symbolizing the expectations and scrutiny that came with her position. At this juncture, Rose found herself at a crossroads, where the distinction between being a ruler and an outcast was alarmingly thin. A knight outside of her door announced her next meeting.
Your Majesty, the king has arrived.
Let him in.
Rose's eyes, once alight with schemes, held only shadows of defeat. She was visibly shaken by King Aldrich's cold, direct approach.
You will tell me the truth, Rose. Are the claims in the article true?
Do you believe every word that is printed, Aldrich?
Aldrich pounded his fist against the wall.
You're evading the question. I need a straightforward answer. Is that man truly your father?
And what if he is? Does that change who I am to you?
It changes everything, Rose. If you've been living a lie, deceiving Elisaria and I, the consequences will be dire.
Consequences? Are you here to threaten me, Aldrich? To cast me out based on unverified claims?
I will get to the bottom of this. Do not give me any more reasons to distrust you, Rose. The ice you stand on is paper thin.
In his office, Aldrich's demeanor was somber as he relayed the encounter to Baron Lant. His trust in Rose, already frayed, had reached its breaking point.
She lied.
Again?
Yes, again.
The words were simple, but they carried the finality of a closing chapter. Baron Lant, witnessing the transformation in Aldrich's countenance, understood the gravity of the situation.
We'll wait for the right moment. This man poses a threat not just to Rose, but to the stability of Elisaria and the safety of my daughter. You will handle this when the attention shifts to someone else, or I leave the capital. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Majesty.
The intense intimacy of the moment between Henry and I was palpable. Each touch, each glance carried with it a depth of emotion that transcended words. We climaxed together, then rested on our respective sides of the bed.
Remember our first dinner together? The stars, the soft breeze, the melody of the night. We can revisit those memories on our way to Wirral.
Yes, that place, where it all began for us. A journey back to where our hearts first met. The mention of our shared past brought a warm glow to my eyes. The memories of our early days, filled with both tension and tenderness, seemed like a distant dream now.
This journey, it's not just a necessity. It's an opportunity for us to relive those precious moments, to cherish the path we've walked together.
My hand remained clasped in Henry's. Despite the uncertainties of the future and the weight of the crown we bore, we found a moment of peace and contentment in each other's company. Let's cherish these moments. But Henry, promise me you'll stay cautious. We cannot afford any risks, especially now.
I promise. I will do everything in my power to protect you and our child.
Henry, I must ask something of you.
Anything, my queen.
Stay here, Henry. This meeting with the King of Whitmond is too crucial. You must be here to greet him. I can manage the journey to Wirral alone. Viscount Langdale and the knights will ensure my safety.
The thought of you traveling alone is unsettling. A journey this long, especially in your condition.
I understand your worry, Henry. But we must think of the kingdom first. The visit of a foreign king is a matter of state, and I am not truly alone. I'll be well guarded. I must go and learn about magic, without your help. Henry's eyes conveyed a depth of emotion, a turmoil of wanting to be by my side, yet understanding the weight of his crown. The decision to stay behind was a testament to his growth as a leader, putting the needs of the Celestial Isles above his own desires. Don't fret so much. I'll be back before you even start to miss me. And think of the stories I'll have about Wirral. We'll share them together upon my return.
All right. I trust in your strength and the knight's protection. But please be cautious and return to me swiftly.
As Henry agreed, albeit with a heavy heart, I leaned forward, placing a soft kiss on his forehead, sealing our promise. I will, Henry. And when I return, we will make up for the lost time.
I'd rather make it up now.
Henry rolled on top of me, his body on top of mine. I wrapped my legs around him. The night was still young,